What's going on? Welcome to episode 4 of Heat and Low. We got some juicy things to get into today, including our Golden Knights advancing to the second round. Our Las Vegas Aces 7-game winning streak has been stalled. Some accommodations for the upcoming NFL season, and our Lights, Viva Lights, finally on the board with their first win. So, with all that, let's go ahead and jump into it. Go Knights, go! Yes, let's take it all the way this time. Oh, still got a lot of work to do, but they have advanced to the second round. They beat the Chicago Blackhawks in 5 games. You look at it, but it wasn't that easy. 3 of the games were decided by 1 goal. Chicago came off the upset in their first round against the Edmonton Oilers, which is where the Western Conference playoffs are being held, and that is actually where the Stanley Cup Finals are going to be held as well. So they were riding high off that, coming in against a hot Golden Knights team who at the time was undefeated, and I think there was really a lot of pressure on the Golden Knights because you won all those games, you're the number 1 seed. This statistically was the worst team in Chicago, but they played hard. Watching the games, they're definitely stressful. Chicago, I mean, they had some leads in some games. The Golden Knights had to fight back, especially in Game 5. They got out to a 2-0 start, and the Golden Knights, resilient as they are, had to battle back and kind of, finish it off, which they did. But props to Chicago. What a great series. And now the Golden Knights are waiting to see who they play. It's between the Vancouver Canucks, the St. Louis Blues, who are last year's champs, or the Calgary Flames. I can never say that word right. But the Canucks are leading the Blues in their series 3-2. So we'll see what happens with that. And then the Flames, who are the lowest seed. So the Golden Knights are playing the lowest seed remaining. Those are the 3 lowest seeds remaining. The Flames being the lowest seed, but they are down in their series against the Stars 3-2. So we're just going to have to wait. They're saying the second round tentatively should start on the 23rd, which is this upcoming Sunday. So we'll see. But the Golden Knights, they shined. Robin Lehner, once again, in this series, had about a 90% save rating. He now improves to 6-1 as the starter of the Golden Knights. But there's a little bit of controversy. Marc-Andre Fleury only played 1 game in this series, that being Game 3. Vegas won that game 2-1, but Fleury has been obviously our starter for these last 3 years. Up until really Leonard got there, Subban was his alternate, but Fleury was the guy. Now it seems like Leonard's on a hot streak. I'm seeing Pete DeBoer, the head coach, saying, hey, he has the hot hand. We're going to kind of continue to ride him until he falls off, which I understand, but I would like to see Fleury get a little more action. He played in Game 3 only because there was going to be a back-to-back between Game 3 and Game 4, so Leonard played the first 2 games, then they put Fleury in, and then they put Leonard in Game 4, so obviously it was like, oh, it's a back-to-back. We can't overplay Leonard, but at the same time, I do feel like you need to continue to gravitate and appease Fleury. I mean, he's our guy. Yes, Leonard is on a streak right now, but you don't want to shut out Fleury. So we'll see what happens going forward. I hope that there's just a good balance. I think they're both phenomenal goalies, but I think if you continue to shut down Fleury, I don't know. I just don't, and then looking towards the off season, what does Fleury want to do in that situation? So just a lot of things to think about. So hopefully Pete DeBoer kind of splits their time evenly going forward. Again, I get Leonard's on fire. I get he was a former Chicago Blackhawk, so that's why you played him a lot. In this series, he should know his former team. But let's get Fleury back out there. Some other things to think about with our Golden Knights. The top line has produced well with William Karlsson, Max Pacioretty, Mark Stone. Those three in particular have been absolutely phenomenal. Pacioretty and Stone scored the 2 goals in Game 5 to get Vegas back into the game out of that 2-0 deficit. So they've been playing well. The third line with Nick Cousins, Nicholas Raw, and Alex Tuck, they have a Corsi of 75%. Now, I didn't know what a Corsi was. I don't know if you know what that is, so I'll explain it. It means it measures a shot attempt differential while at even strength play. So like a 5-on-5, like a power play is when we have, or the other team has an extra guy, or something like that, a 5-on-4 or something like that. So even play just means like a 5-on-5. Just think like a basketball game. So that's a really good Corsi, and yeah, they really, again, have been gelling well. Everything's been working right, and so hopefully they can keep it up. Again, I would like to see more reps with Fleury. Get some rotation in there. Let's not just wear down Leonard and just neglect Fleury, because again, in my opinion, you do that, then there's going to be a lot of questions this offseason. Fleury has been our main guy. He is one of the main reasons we're as good as we are. Yes, Leonard has been doing a phenomenal job. I think both of them together are a powerful duo. I would like to keep that duo. So please, Pete DeBoer, do me a favor and get them both some even reps. But other than that, Golden Knights, I love what I've been seeing. We'll have to wait to see who we play next. But come on, go Knights, go. What else can you say? Well, sticking with the Chicago bandwagon, our Aces can't figure out the Chicago Sky. They now fall to 0-2 against them this season. Tell me why every time we play this team, it comes down to the wire. It doesn't matter what the deficit is. That last minute seems to be someone's making a 3, someone's missing a 3. It's coming down to the last possession. This is really a true rivalry, and I'm here for it. But I just want to figure out how we can beat them. They definitely have our number. They beat us again. It was now, if you look at the final score, it was 84-82. But the game was not like that. The Aces needed a 13-2 run within the last few minutes to tie it up, actually, with 15 seconds. They went from like down 11 into all of a sudden the game was tied within a few minutes. So it was very exciting to watch. But then on the last possession, Asia Wilson kind of got mixed up on her defensive assignment, left Azurá Stevens wide open for a layup. That was the game winner. There was still about 3 seconds left, and Danielle Robinson took a kind of crazy, I don't want to say crazy, but it wasn't a planned 3. I don't think that was the planned play. I think Bill Laimbeer would have liked to get it to Asia Wilson, tried to work off the block or something like that. She put up a 3. Granted, it almost went in. If she makes it, of course, she's the hero. She missed. Our Aces now fall to 8-3, still the second best record in the league. But, I mean, you know, a couple teams are nipping at the heels, including the Chicago Sky. And Asia Wilson had her worst performance of the season. She only had 11 points on 3 of 12 shooting. They tried to run the offense through Kayla McBride, who's kind of been struggling this year. She's a good 3-point shooter, but they took 5 threes within the first couple possessions, and that's not their game. I feel like that they're trying to figure out Chicago, and so they're like, hey, if Asia doesn't have it going, let's try to do something else. And to me, I'm like, no, you stick with the formula that works. And yeah, you might have to modify that formula, but you stick with it. You don't go out your element, because that is how you get beat. I think you saw that in the last few minutes. They kind of settled down. They got back into the game. They tied it up. A defensive assignment failure, and they end up losing the game. So I think you gotta kind of keep that in mind. It's like you don't just abandon what got you here. You gotta do the things that got you here. So I do I liked what I saw within the last few minutes. Again, we players have off nights. I'm not tripping that Asia Wilson had an off night. Maybe it's Chicago. Maybe Chicago just has figured her out. But we're about halfway through the season. There's 22 games. They played 11 of them. They're doing well. I just hope they can kind of bounce back and keep this momentum going, because coming up they have some tough games. They have a game against the Connecticut Sun, which by the time you hear this, that will have gone final. Hopefully they can get back on track, because Saturday is a huge matchup against Brianna Stewart and the Seattle Storm. They're 10-1. They're the best team in the league, and so I think for the Aces that would be a big momentum booster if we can beat Connecticut and then take on Seattle, the best team in the league, beat them. I think that will kind of get us going into the right direction, because I loved what I've been seeing and the fun camaraderie group that we have. And so yes, obviously the streak would have came to an end at some point. Hopefully we can just kind of bounce back and get our legs back under us, but these ladies are very talented. We're missing a few key players, but I mean, they've showed that they are very capable without Liz Cambage and Kelsey Plum. So, again, Asia Wilson, she's going to struggle from time to time. I'm sure she'll get it back on track. We just can't abandon. And that's my thing. Just don't abandon what works. The offense runs through Asia Wilson and Angel McCoughtry. Keep feeding them the ball. I'm not saying Kayla McBride can't get her points, Jackie Young can't get her points, but let's not derail from what got you here, what got you on this streak. And I think if they can get back to that, they will be back to playing proper Aces basketball. All right, our Las Vegas Raiders, welcome to town that you might not even get to play in this year. I mean, we got this nice stadium, Allegiant Stadium, that just got built, and will you be able to play in it? I hope so, without any fans, but hopefully you'll just get to experience it. I mean, what a transition. You come, from Oakland, where you're playing on a baseball field, to this nice football stadium, and you're not going to have a traditional season. We're sorry. But, I mean, hey, I don't know if anybody saw this coming. We just, no, everything's up in the air right now. But speaking of that, in the COVID pandemic, the NFL is still trying to make accommodations to have a season. I mean, it's all about that, right? So, we know the players want to play. They've been using the hashtag, many of them at least, have been using the hashtag "we want to play" on social media, kind of expressing we do want to play, but we want to make sure there are safety protocols in hand, and we're not just going in blind. And so the league is really trying to do that, and in some ways, quote, they're trying to limit personnel near team facilities, instituting robust testing of players, and eliminating in-person activities such as large meetings or the film room sessions that teams kind of orchestrate every week. So really, big kind of things, but that makes sense. Obviously, we've seen other teams make adjustments as well. Now, I'm wondering, with the NFL, are they going to follow baseball's route? They're not going to do a bubble format. There's too many players for that. But are they going to say, hey, Raiders, you're going to play everybody in your region. You'll play your division. You'll play the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Broncos, but you're also going to just play teams on the West Coast, the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Rams. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to take that approach, because I'm, looking at the schedule, they open up in Carolina, which is in the South, close to Florida, where it's really bad. And then, their first game at Allegiant Stadium is September 21st. So exactly a month from today, they're supposed to debut in Allegiant Stadium, But then they're playing New England, they're playing Buffalo, they're playing Tampa. Like, it's just all over the place. So I'm wondering, will they follow baseball's route of like, hey, we're not going to have a full 16 game season. Instead, we're going to have an 8 game season. You're going to play your division, which is 3 games. You're only going to play your division once. So you're going to play them three different teams, and then you got to figure you have 5 more games, and those, again, are going to be on the West Coast. Maybe it is 49ers, the Seahawks, the Rams. I mean, that's basically the Cardinals right there. That's the NFC West. You're going to play the AFC West and the NFC West, and maybe a few other close areas. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. I was really thinking about this last night, and I could totally see them doing this. Just like baseball is like, we're cutting 100 and like 20, or they have 162. So they cut 102 games because it's a 60 game season. I could totally see NFL doing the same thing of, yeah, we're going to cut the season in half, and you're only going to play on your coast, wherever that is. And so we'll see. We'll have to hear something soon because it's less than a month to when the season is going to start. So if they're going to say something, they're going to have to say it soon. But I think we will have some sort of a modified season. It's not going to be, in my opinion, I don't think we're going to have a full 16 game season. Of course, we're not going to have fans. That's a given. But I don't think we're going to have a full 16 game season. And to finish it off, I just want to shout out Viva Light! Yes, getting their first win against the Sounders FC2, 3-1. They're now 1-3 on the season. Again, they only have 15 games this year, so they played 4. They got 11 more. If we can go 11-0, come on, we can do it. Why not? Why not us? And so I'm so proud of them. I know they're missing the energy, but we're with you, Lights, in spirit. Their next game, they're taking on the Phoenix Rising FC, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night. Be there in spirit. Cheer them on. Let's get consecutive wins, and let's get on a roll, just like our Aces did. And with that, I'm rolling on out of here. Thank you so much for joining me. I know this is a little bit of a longer episode. There was a lot. There was a lot happening this week in Vegas sports, and hopefully a lot continues to happen with our Golden Knights, our Aces, Lights, Raiders. Hopefully, UNLV, we're still, I got my Rebel shirt on. We're still kind of iffy about that, so we'll see. This is a unique year for sports. 2020 is definitely a unique year, but thank you so much for joining me. Please continue to stay safe during this time. Quarantine if you need to. Be safe at work. Wear mask. Please wear a mask. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Deuces!